everyone. Welcome to Tactical Talk with Mad Dog Armory. I am your host, Jillian, with our other host,
Shad. Hi.
Shad.
How are you?
Jillian and Shad from Mad Dog Armory. Welcome. Thank you for watching. We are here with you every Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So happy Friday. Hopefully you make it to a happy hour on this Friday and then get some drinks and then watch. Yeah. Even during happy hour. Why not?
Yeah, it's kind of like me last night.
Shad had a happy hour or 3 or 9 last night.
Yes,
Yeah. Feeling a little. I think it was.
I'm looking a little rough.
Yeah.
There
were a lot of
today. Yeah.
shots. There was like Crown Apple, which
Shots.
Yeah. It smells so good.
It's quite nummy.
I mean, I could see getting a little buzzed off that stuff because it's sweet and okay, so
Anyway.
welcome back.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. So again, I'm Jillian and this is Shad, and we are the owners of Mad Dog Armory. We are super excited to be here. We come to you through Area 52 TV. They were gracious enough to host us. We are censored a lot in the industry we're in. We are in the gun industry, FYI. Mad Dog Armory, even though I'm wearing my shooting club, but you are wearing your Mad Dog shirt, so that's great. Yes. We are the owners of a local in Tampa Bay area, 2 actually, gun shops and training centers, and we're very passionate about education and just firearms in general, just shooting and education and getting people into the right guns and accessories, which is what we're going to talk about today. But we're very excited to have this show because we are censored, like I said, and we're able to give you topics in the industry and review products and teach you some stuff and hopefully entertain you a little bit. So that's what this show is about.
Good learning.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, like I said, we're here every Friday from 6 to 7, but you can absolutely go back and rewatch the shows that we've had previously. Today is show 21.
21?
21. So, super excited about that. So, you have 20 previous shows that you can go back and watch, maybe after your happy hour.
Almost a full day of binge watching.
But super exciting stuff going on there in the previous 20. So, please like, share, subscribe. If you are a gun-toting Second Amendment supporter, please... Patriot, American, please go and subscribe, and share.
Share.
Super important. I love this platform to be able to come to you. We are censored in the aspect of, well, I said it 3 times now, but we're censored in the fact that, thank you, by the way, because I'm like, why do I repeat myself? In the way like social media and things like that. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I'm kind of pissy about Facebook and all these.
Very difficult to get our stuff out without people going, oh, that's offensive or whatever. And it's
Google. We can't do Google ads. We can't do Facebook ads because we're in the gun industry, which is bullshit because it's literally a legal industry that we're in, and we're not doing anything illegal.
It's one of our Second Amendment rights.
Correct.
Which is the thing that is kind of, again, mind-boggling, that it's, driving is a privilege. It's not a right.
Right.
This is one of our rights.
Correct.
So to censor our rights is kind of bullshit.
You said it again. Censored. We can't say it anymore. We've reached the limit of censor.
Where's the censored counter?
We need we need an and a censor counter. Okay, so moving on. So Mad Dog Armory is a local gun shop, 2 local gun shops, one in Pinellas County, one in Hillsborough County. Yep. Shad and I are really excited to be here, and we're going to talk about holsters today. We're going to talk about all different kinds of holsters, the different materials they come in, different styles, how to choose the right holster for you. We've touched on it a little bit in previous shows.
I think here or there kind of thing, but this one is dedicated to holsters.
Specifically to holsters. Florida is a concealed carry state, so depending on where you're located at, if you're in the state of Florida, we are a concealed carry state. However, you can open carry as long as it is concealed. So meaning you can have an outside the waistband holster, like an outside carry type of holster, but you have to have it covered. So you'd have to wear a jacket or a long shirt.
Out of ordinary sight, technically, is the terminology used. In Florida, you are able to open carry when you're actively hunting, fishing, or camping as well.
Yes.
Unless prohibited.
Correct.
Where that's at. So
so we are going to go over the different types of holsters, different styles, different, outside the waistband, inside the waistband, what that means, all that good stuff.
IWB.
IWB,
Yep.
OWB,
Yep.
all that stuff.
OBJ,
Did you say BJ?
FBJ.
FBJ is right. All right, cool. So that's what we're going to talk about. Last week's show. Now, I think it was a repeat last week because staff here was a little under the weather. We've been getting that second wave or third wave or whatever the heck it is of the vid. So we had it run through our shops recently, which is so hard because our staff, one person gets it and then it just like rolls over. And so we just get one back and then another one's out and it's just like this recurring thing. So, so the staff is back. So we did have a rerun last week, but it was about 5 reasons why you would own a firearm, right? And then a couple of reasons why you shouldn't own a firearm, but because it's not for everybody, and that's okay. So definitely go back and watch that. That was a really great show. What else? Want to touch on boating a little bit. So our Mad Dog Armory boat. I might jump around a little bit. So Rob, thank you. I'm like, there's my So we have a Mad Dog Armory boat. Did we talk about this last time?
We did.
Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
If you see us out there, take a picture.
Yeah. And we have like koozies. That's right, because you couldn't read it.
Right.
Okay, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
A week off, and this is what happens.
Absolutely.
So we have koozies and different kind of swag. So if you see us out on the boats, if you see the Mad Dog Armory boat, please flag us down.
Absolutely.
And scream and yell, and we'll give you some swag. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area, you'll see us out there. We're out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Not as often as we should be, but super busy.
And boating season technically is coming to an end here in a couple of weeks.
We're in the Sunshine State, so.
But it doesn't really.
Doesn't really.
So it's,
No.
We're always out on the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely do that and see when you see us, let us know. Also a reminder, again, our local watchers and listeners, we have raffles going on in both of our stores to win free ARs. So super excited about that. It's $10 a chance. So you buy a raffle ticket for $10 and it gives you a chance to win like a pretty expensive, like $2,000 I think is like the value of these guys.
Our Largo location, we have a ZEV AR-15 with a Hollow Sun package, a 3X magnifier and a 510C on it. And I believe also a Magpul bipod. And then in our Tampa location, we have a Springfield
Armory Saint ATC.
Yep, the ATC with a bipod as well.
Yep. So all you do is just stop in the shop, you pay your $10, you get your raffle ticket, and then once all the raffles are sold, which doesn't take very long, Tampa seems to be going a little quicker. We've done 2 winners already, so we're really excited for them. They got free. Well, not free, but they invested like 10. I think one guy or both guys only bought one
ticket.
So for $10, they got a $2,000.
It ended up being 15. You got to pay for the background check. It's $5.
Oh yeah.
But nonetheless, for $15, you got an AR-15.
Yeah, and
Not
a really nice
too bad
one.
of an investment.
No, really, really good. So definitely check that out. That's really, really cool thing that's going on in both stores. You could always visit our website to check out the locations and where they are and how to get there and their hours and things like that. So definitely get in on that raffle. It's a really cool thing that we're doing. Yeah, awesome.
Website is mdarmory.com.
Yes.
So www.mdarmory.com.
Yes,
there it is.
mdarmory.com. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to get into a couple of headlines because I saw some like really funny stuff going on this weekend. One of them, first and foremost, before we have 2 videos that we're going to play, but the first one I wanted to talk about that I just saw. I was doing some research on the way here, and it looks like Pelosi and friends they're passing, or they just passed a new bill. It's called the Inflation Reduction Act. The inflation that they caused, of course. So now they're passing a bill that's going to cost us $750 billion.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so they're about to pass it today, which is Friday. Today's August 12th, I think. So they're about to pass it, and he's going to sign it, dum-dum. And basically what they're doing is they're taxing the wealthy, 15% minimum tax on large corporations. Oh, yeah. So new taxes on the wealthy. It's really just really shitty. So if you think about it, I get that we have to pay our fair share, but I feel like people that work really hard and own businesses and employ people like us, we are getting hit so hard. And it's like, well, why would you tax the people that are employing people and working really hard more than people that sit home and don't do anything? Or, you know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Does it make sense to you? Because I feel like everybody should get taxed the same,
Well, but
no matter what.
they're saying unemployment is at an all-time low, but reality is, I don't see it. I mean, I just don't see it. There's still too many people too many jobs still way out there that are available and
everybody's
stuff like
hiring.
that.
Yeah.
It seems like if somebody quits a job and then goes to another job, they don't count that they quit one job. They just go, oh, look, another employee, somebody just got employed.
I'm sure it's just manipulation of the numbers and things like that, because I know so many business owners that are hiring. They're having trouble finding people. They're having trouble keeping people. It's just like a whole thing going on. So I don't understand the thinking of if you work really hard and you do then you get taxed more. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, how are these corporations supposed to stay in business? I mean, we get taxed so high. It's like, well, how are we supposed to?
Some of the there's some stuff, like in our business, there's not a huge margin and stuff. So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, it really is. So, but you get some of these pharmaceutical companies, they're just making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So, there are some industries that are doing way better than others.
Yeah.
But again, it's kind of, how can you pick and choose? But it's tough. Maybe it goes by size of business or something. The small mom and pop stuff, you shouldn't be hammering the shit out of.
Right. So. I mean, I look at it both ways, because as a business owner, you look at numbers and you go, oh, they did, whatever. Let's just say a pharmaceutical company does $10 million, right? Well, if they still have 10 billion, okay, whatever. But their costs are...
Right.
$9.5 billion.
Right.
They have employees, they have the building that they, can you imagine the buildings that they have and the equipment? And, I'm not defending pharmaceutical companies by any means, but what I'm saying is, as business owners, I see the expenses that go out. So when people just look.
Yeah, you start to find stuff and see stuff that you never knew about previously, and it's like, holy crap. And everybody's got their hand out. It's like, all right, I need my part.
Right. So just because you see a big number at the end of the year as far as like sales or stuff like that, you have to then deduct all the expenses that come along with it. So it's not like, and again, every company's different, but to generalize and say, well, any company, corporation that's this size or whatever, to punish them, it just doesn't seem right. I don't know. So I don't like this. I don't like this inflation reduction bill. I think it's ridiculous. They're rushing it through. They put a whole bunch of stuff in there about the climate, whatever, green stuff and all this. So it really, I don't know, it's pretty infuriating what they're doing. So very, very upsetting. And then we have Dum Dum, of course, that is trying to put his jacket on. And if we're ready to put that up, this is who's running the free world. He really needs to be in a home.
Yeah.
Not the White House.
Not so much. Where'd that arm go? Is it over there? No, I don't know. Somewhere around here. Oh boy.
Wow. Where are we?
Yeah.
Did I just shit myself?
Hey, honey, can you help me with that?
Wow. Wow.
Well,
that's
a pocket. Still a pocket.
No.
Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe.
Oh.
Pop that collar. Wait a minute. Oh, shit, where'd my glasses go?
Cat-like reflexes. Wow. Right? I'm like, are you kidding me? This is what's happening? Oh my gosh, it's infuriating.
Yes.
All right, let's get him out here. Thank you to Ron, our good friend, who gave us the Ruger vote. I know it's 2020, but you got to get out and vote. It's so important, guys. I mean, it's just, we got to take back, our country. It's going in the
coming
shitter.
Around the corner, so.
I mean, we really, I've been getting things in the mail like crazy. I'm like, oh, and starting to see ads on TV and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, here we go. It's voting time, So make sure your vote does count. Please make sure you go out and vote and make a difference, because we got to change what's going on in our country. The border crisis that's happening is absolutely insane. Just everything in general is just in shit. I think like other countries are laughing at us. That lady
No, they are.
No, they are. I mean, when you see
100%.
things like that video, and how can they not?
Right.
I mean, he can't even put his arm in a jacket. I mean, what kind of leader is that? I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to go through that real quick. That's a headline. The bill, I wanted to show, of course, Biden not being able to put his jacket on. Also, fun fact, today is National Middle Child Day. So if you're a middle child, now I had a question because I feel like I'm the middle child, but there's two middle children. There's two because I have the oldest and the youngest, and then there's two in the middle. So which is the middle child?
Right.
Are we both middle children?
Potentially.
So anybody that's not first, oldest, or youngest is
in the middle.
So there's a lot of middle children that should be celebrating today. I'm one of them.
For me, it was just my brother and I, so there is no middle.
There's no middle.
No.
Right. So you can't celebrate it.
No.
You can celebrate me.
I'm the younger.
You're the younger.
I'm the younger.
Right. So for all of those middle children, you know, we get the shaft sometimes because, you know, the oldest one is the firstborn, you know, like usually like, oh, you know,
right,
silver spoon type thing, you know, and then the youngest is usually trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, usually
done that
trouble,
before, whatever.
Trying to get away with stuff.
Don't worry about the seatbelt. He'll be fine.
The seatbelt? Oh, my gosh. All right, cool. So happy National Middle Child Day to all you middle children. And let's move on. So we're going to talk holsters, and there is a lot of different options out there for you. And
Absolutely.
It's not just carrying on your person. There's a lot of ways to conceal your gun in bags and briefcases and things like that, backpacks and all different purses and whatever you carry. So we're going to cover all of those today and really dedicate this show specifically on holsters because it is a really personal decision.
Extremely.
And carrying is a serious responsibility, of course. You need to, in Florida, have your concealed carry license to carry it on you, okay? So it can't be readily accessible for immediate use is the actual term.
Right, even if it's in a backpack, right? It's still, you're still concealed carrying it. Now, there is a caveat for that. Ultimately, if you're going to the range and you have it in your backpack, in your car, it's in a back seat or in a trunk, make sure it's unloaded, right? So then there's no intent of use.
Sure.
But
it's not readily accessible.
Right, and you're going to the range, okay, so you're taking it in a bag as opposed to, and that's okay.
Right, well, because you don't want to be walking around with your gun.
But if you're walking around with it in your backpack, you are actively concealed carrying it.
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
So we'll go over all those different types, and we're going to go from there. So sometimes you'll hear EDC. Right?
Yeah.
Is that your EDC? Is that EDC, right? So EDC is everyday carry. So everyday carry, you'll hear EDC. That's what that is. You'll also hear things like we said in the beginning of the show, OWB and IWB. You'll see those on the packages. You'll hear people talking about which holster do you want? Do you want an IWB? So that's inside the waistband would be IWB.
Right. And most likely that is really going to be for concealed carry. That's really what is meant for concealed carry is inside the waistband. Now,
right.
OWB is outside the waistband.
Correct.
Which technically, if you have a jacket or something else to help disguise it, you could do that as well.
Sure.
So
absolutely. And the thing with inside the waistband is it's more concealable, but it's not as comfortable. So an outside the waistband is more comfortable, but less concealable.
Right.
So it's like a trade-off, you know, because if you think about it, when you have something inside your waistband, it's basically on your skin, right? And it's inside. It's like pushing. It's hard to explain until you do it, but it's kind of pushing against your side or your stomach or your back or wherever you have it, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. So outside the waistband is just usually like a paddle or something that's inside the hook, that, you know, whatever is attaching it to your waistband, and then you have the gun and the holster, the actual holster part on the outside, which is more comfortable because it's not like digging into your side. So
it gets in, but when you're walking at that point, it gets a little bit more into your arms and hands. It kind of hits a little bit more if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
So that's
sitting.
That's where all this stuff kind of plays in a little bit more. So what works good for you may not work for somebody else.
Absolutely.
So that's why we talk about it being very personal.
Yeah. Yep. The size of your gun matters. The size, the type of your
Always.
holster. Size matters, ladies. So the size of the gun matters. The type of holster you have matters. The size of your gun matters. All of that matters on your personal choice and what works for you, right?
Climate has a lot to do with it as well.
Sure, where you are.
So ultimately, we live in paradise, so it does. Oh, yeah.
Where's our button?
I don't know. We live in paradise, so for us, there's usually not a lot of clothing being worn around here because it's just so damn hot.
Yes.
So in doing so, it makes it a little bit more difficult to conceal carry something unless you're wearing something baggy, and a lot of times people around here don't want to wear really baggy stuff either.
Sure.
So it can, that can also reflect on what you're going to carry and how you're going to carry it.
And as you can see on the table in front of us, we have a ton of holsters. Now, keep in mind that this is our personal collection, right? We didn't like go around and just pluck them. So you may have multiple holsters for the same gun, and you likely will. And that comes into play. You will, right? And it depends on what you're wearing. So that's why it's so important to cover this topic, because there are solutions to all of these problems that we're telling you about, like the weather, the type of gun, all that stuff, because there are different holsters that will give you that solution. So that's why we wanted to bring all of these. And I know it's a little overwhelming, but different sized guns, different sized holsters, so just stick with us and we'll try to help you out with that. All right, so outside the waist and pocket holster, that's another type. So it'll go in your pocket. So if you have a small gun, like a micro, is this considered a micro? What is this? Like so like a Ruger LCP2 or
LCP Max,
like Smith & Wesson, Bodyguard. So your smaller style guns, real small, can go in a pocket. So you can have a pocket holster as well. That's another type. Then you also have a ankle holster. So ankle holsters are good for this guy. Are good for people that wear pants. So like dress pants, people that wear suits.
Definitely don't want to wear it with shorts.
Definitely don't want to wear it with shorts.
At that point, it is open carry. So we'll just go ahead and define that real quick.
Yes. No ankle holsters with shorts in a concealed carry state. Correct.
That's almost like wearing socks with flip-flops or sandals or something.
White socks.
Yeah.
Should we talk about them? Should we talk about the Rever? We're not going to talk about him right there.
Talk about the Rever.
So there's your ankle holster. And it looks like those guys are wearing shorts.
Or for display purposes, so you can see how it, but ultimately, you don't want to walk around like that because somebody might notice it. Potentially.
Correct. So ankle holsters are great for that purpose, for pants, and having like a loose pant. Of course, you're not going to want to wear skinny jeans with with an ankle holster. That doesn't really work very well.
We definitely need to do some don'ts and have some pictures of don'ts. That would be great.
I know.
Skinny jeans, it's like, wow, is that an ankle holster? Nope.
Don't know what you're talking about.
It's an ankle monitor.
Right. That's so funny. Then we also have purse holsters, right? So they're, this is like one that I used for years and years. And honestly, I have a different thing that I'm using right now. But this is a purse holster. It goes drops right in your purse. And for people that wear, change out their purses, it's really good. I say people, but whatever, whoever. And basically what that does is it sits in your purse and it has a little flap here and the holster and the gun sit in here. So it's really easy to draw and keep it in your purse.
And it keeps it upright, so that's majorly important, right?
Yeah, you don't want your gun flopping around in your purse or your bag, because this is also for a briefcase or something like that, or a backpack. It doesn't have to be a purse, and that's why I say purse carry, but it's really any bag, that you have. So.
And in stuff like that, like I said, you want to make sure it stays upright, because if it starts flopping around,
it's going to be hard to draw.
Right, you go to look for your gun, you're like, give me a second, hold on, I got to find what I'm looking for here.
Seconds count.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot be flopping around and trying to figure out where it is and digging at the bottom of your purse or your bag trying to find your gun. Your gun should be accessible and quickly and easily being able to be drawn from your holster. For sure. And then just quickly, not if you're going to have it in a bag or something like that, it should be in a holster. Don't just throw, or in your pocket, right?
Exactly.
You have people that...
It's like, I'm just going to put it in my pocket. It's like, okay, well, if anything else, your keys go in your pocket or something like that, and all of a sudden something gets inside the trigger guard and pulls the trigger, that's bad.
We've even cleaned guns before for people that had like lint
Lint.
and all sorts of crap in there. You're like, you don't want that going on. And there's really great holsters that are available, like
is sticky.
they're pocket holsters.
Yep.
So basically, it's sticky brand,
Yep.
and the gun goes in, and when you draw it, the sticky kind of stays in your pocket or on your person, depending on where you have the sticky, and you draw the gun out. And it's nice and easy.
Goes in like this, and it's just very simple to, just comes right out. But ultimately, when you go to draw it, I'm a right-hander. So it goes in my pocket, and this little section right here actually gets caught on the pocket, and the gun just comes right out.
Yeah.
So-
Super easy, and they're very inexpensive, so there's no reason that you should just have a gun in your pocket or
Right.
just thrown in your purse or in
Loosely.
your bag or in your glove box or wherever you store it. You should have the trigger guard covered. It's very, very important. You don't want it to snag and go off.
That is pretty much the primary, right? And there's several different, I know that we don't have something here, but we just
What?
ordered some from, can't remember where. We ordered a new holster, and it's basically, it just clips onto the trigger guard. So it actually just covers here, and that's where the retention
clip is?
Yeah, and there's nothing else. So it's kind of.
And we don't know the name?
I can't remember. We
Okay.
just ordered it, sorry.
Okay, well, visit
We'll have
the
it
store.
next show, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, ankle we did, shoulder. Shoulder, did we do shoulder?
We didn't.
No. Okay, so shoulder holster, clearly, it's a little bit descriptive on where it would go.
Yeah, this is going to kind of be your old style, Magnum PI, whatever. It's on the screen right now. You definitely need to wear some sort of jacket with this.
Yeah, or a vest or something. So it's popular for people that ride motorcycles, right? So I know that there's a lot of people that use those, and also with people that wear jackets, like business
It could
suits
be business
and things
suits,
like
it
that.
could be windbreakers, it could be all sorts of stuff. But the problem is once you take that jacket off, now you're open
Exposed.
carrying,
Yeah.
right? So it's,
Yeah.
you really got to be cognizant of that and
Sure.
and know that you can't take that stuff off while you're actively
Yeah.
using the holster.
Absolutely. And with all holsters, you're going to try to figure out where you're going to draw from, right? So
Yeah.
there's lots of different ways to draw your firearm. So if you're right-handed, like Shad and I both are, there's different ways. So you can be right here,
3 o'clock?
right?
Yep.
And then you're going to draw up, right? So then there's some people that like appendix,
Appendix.
which is going to be in the front area. And then some people cross draw. So they're going to go across their side and they're going to draw this way. And then there's some people that go back
Wanna go
here
6 o'clock? Yep.
and they're going to draw from the back. So
Right.
you have to find kind of where is comfortable for you. And there's certain instances where you'll be a right-handed, because there's right-handed and left-handed holsters and things like that. On
right?
some.
On a sticky holster, there's not, because there's no clip, so there's
Sure.
nothing defining which way it's going to sit. But on these
Good
other
point.
guys, like this, we have clips here. You're going to put it on. This is a right-handed holster outside the waistband, and this, pretty much, that's the only thing I can do.
Correct.
If I put it over here, it's cross draw,
Correct.
pretty much.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Right. And
But
then
it's very uncomfortable in that state to do a cross draw because of the can't.
the can't. So when you hear
Uh-huh,
can't, right.
Yeah.
When you hear can't, we don't have our button today. When you hear can't, it is the way of the angle of the holster.
Correct.
Right?
And some of them you're able to change the cant, so like this is just straight up and down, but you also have some other screws where you can turn it, so it gives you another option. So it might turn it this way, so it makes it a little easier for you to get, grab, and pull out.
Right.
Right? So,
You said pull out.
it's- oh yeah. Highly recommend.
Pulling out? Jeez.
So like this, and we come out, ultimately, so,
Right. So the can't.
Yep.
Right. So that's the angle of, so the clip will be on, right, on you.
Yep.
And then the can't is going to be moving this part that holds the gun side to side, right?
Right.
So if you have this on your waist and you don't want to draw straight up,
Right.
right? Or you want to draw more back or
it's gonna
even
go like
front
this,
way.
and then we change the cant to either go this way or
Correct.
this way. Normally, it's going to be this way.
Correct.
As we start to go further back, as you reach back, it needs to be accessible.
Sure.
So if you're trying to pull straight up here, it's just
just
not
awkward.
conducive. So on your side, you usually have it canted forward, so now it's easier to kind of
Come
get
forward.
it out, up
Yeah,
and out.
for sure.
So, and if you're carrying an appendix, that's usually going to be straight up and down.
Correct.
Or maybe even canted a little bit towards, if you're right-handed, towards your right, just
Yep.
so it's easier for you to get and kind of pull as opposed to pull.
Up, right. Exactly. And not all holsters have the ability to move and to adjust that way.
Yep.
And then something else I wanted to mention too about that is you have a right-hand holster, right? So not all holsters, like Shad said, the sticky and a couple other ones, they're not specific to right hand, left hand. But if you do have a right-handed holster specifically and you want to carry in the back, right? So you're going to need a left-hand holster.
If you're right-handed, and a right-handed holster if you're left-handed.
Right. So think about it. So if the gun is sitting in your holster because you're right-handed, and then you go ahead, and the clip is here, right? Then you go around to the back. Well, this is actually already done. And then it's going to flip. So you're not going to have the clip on the correct side. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically, if you go behind, you're going to have to change, right? Or you can be badass like this young lady here. I love it. Nice. So she, on that one side, is going to have an opposite-handed holster.
One is right-handed, one's left-handed.
Right.
In that particular instance, like you said, it's flipped, but it's set up and ready to go for her.
Right. And then there are certain holster companies that make the clip that can be switched to the other side. So that's kind of awesome.
And that can also be inside the waistband and outside the waistband.
Correct.
In that same instance.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. So it gives you the opportunity to have that. This particular one also has an extra mag carrier here. So different holster companies make different stuff, right? And that is one feature that this company does pretty well, that it has the extra pocket for the mag. Some people just cut it off because they don't want the bulkiness of it. Because if you think about it, you have your gun in here, then you have your extra mag. So look how much more bulky it's getting at this point, to conceal. Thank you. Because now you have this and you have this, and it's going to be under your shirt and it's bulging. So you got to be careful kind of what you're including, but hopefully you don't need an extra mag. You're watching me?
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't need 2 15-round mags in a situation, but you never know, right? I mean,
Well, what happens if you have a failure, right, in your magazine? So having a backup mag, at least 1 or 2 backup mags is good, because if you have some sort of instance where your magazine fails, then you're up shit's creek without a paddle.
Sure.
So
no, I agree with that for sure. So you're going to want to be conscious of all of these different things. And I know it seems like a lot in choosing a holster, but there are a lot of options, just like there's a lot of options for guns and different things. So just do your research, figure out where you want to kind of draw from, what's comfortable for you, what you wear on a daily basis. And like we said earlier, you might have a couple of different ones.
Right. And we talk about it being a very personal situation on how you want to carry. So don't let anybody influence you. Now, you want to do your own research, you want to figure it out. Reality is, if you can, you want to carry it on your person, right?
Yeah.
Because people that carry it in a bag or a purse or something that's not attached to them, if you set that down and now all of a sudden somebody takes that, now you're it's not necessarily good. Now, I'd much rather there than not having anything at all. Right. So again, and it's a comfort level. You have to figure that out, right? And do you carry with one in the chamber or not? Again, it's a personal thing. You have to feel comfortable. And a lot of people, when they start, they don't carry one in the chamber, right? Just for the fact of they're getting used to carrying. And it feels different, and you're like, everybody's looking at me, everybody can see it,
right?
And then after a while, you just don't even think about it, and it just kind of blends in. It's just like wearing a regular belt. You don't feel it, you don't nothing. So
that's when you know you have the right holster.
Correct.
Is when you just don't even feel it at that point, and it's just there. And
but it does take time, right? It does take time in carrying for that to kind of just in general to happen, because again, the first at least month, you're like, can they see it? Oh my God, they can see it. It's a bulge. Oh my God. So, and then after a while, you're like, what? I got a gun on me?
Well, it's also, yes. And it's also, do you have the right gun? Do you have the right concealed carry gun? Is your gun that you have too big to conceal carry? And it might be your favorite gun, and it's great. I've said this before on previous shows that, I've had the 365, the SIG 365, which was great. When it first came out, it was like all the rage. You could hold 13 to 15 rounds of 9 in this small little package. But when I started carrying it, I realized 15 rounds is heavy. It's a little bit bulky, and it's not as easy to carry as the small little pocket guns, like the smaller
and
ones.
The funny thing is, there's not a huge difference, But there is a huge difference, right? And this is in concealed carry, a little bit is a lot. It really is huge.
For sure.
Huge difference.
Yep. So picking your concealed carry gun is important, but then once you start carrying it, you might realize, oh, this concealed carry gun might be a little bit too much, depending on what you're wearing. Now, with that said, we've had people that conceal carry very easily, employees and different things, a Glock 19, like I say full size, but it's not.
This is the G45, so it's 19, but still full size grip here, not full size here, so it's compact here, but still, I mean, this is the big part. This is really the big part on concealed carry. Depth isn't as big of an issue.
The length of the barrel,
correct. If you're carrying it appendix, that can be, because it can start to jam into things when you go to sit down and stuff, so depending on the barrel length. But this is where you really find the biggest difference of that shirt really popping out quite a bit.
And printing out, for sure, and sticking out. So that's why it's so important to find the right holster. And once you start carrying, you may realize that you might want something a little smaller. And that's the negative about concealed carry. And a lot of people, there's that big debate, concealed versus open carry. And I am all about open carry. Like, I really am. And that's because my favorite holster is an outside the waistband holster, and it is the most comfortable. I love it. I love my paddle holster. So this is a paddle holster. It's outside the waist, and basically this part is where your pants go, right? So it goes in between here. So this is going to sit on your body.
And you don't necessarily have to wear a belt. Wearing a belt helps, but you don't have to wear a belt.
Yeah, it just depends on how tight your pants are. But yes, wearing a belt definitely helps. Definitely helps. And this is so comfortable that I carry it all day long at the shop, because we can open carry in our place of business here, and check your local area for that. But all day long, I'll carry this around, and it is just so comfortable. So I think if it was open carry in Florida, I would carry like that.
You said that you were going to do it.
Constitutional carry. Is it? Does that mean open carry as well?
Yep. So, and honestly, in that instance, it would be nice because I can open carry, but I can pull my shirt over it if I wanted to, and I don't have to hide it, but it can kind of be out of sight, but people still know that I have. But at least it's not like,
Right.
So that's. Again, it's trying to find that happy place of open carry.
It should be choice, I mean, why isn't it just the person's choice on, and I think it's more people that are just ignorant and just don't know that they would be like, oh my gosh, that person has a gun, I'm pointing and being nervous that, So, and we've gone over this before, but you should feel safe when somebody around you is carrying.
Because they can protect you.
They're the ones that are going to protect you if some lunatic comes in. And look at the world we're living in right now. You never know where you're going to be. I mean, you can't even go to the grocery store without feeling like, I mean, that just happened recently in New York.
And people talk about guns and stuff like that. I mean, this has to do with anything. So what if somebody comes up with a knife and tries to stab you with a knife, right? It's the same thing. So now somebody's bringing a knife to a gunfight. And usually that is in favor of somebody. But again, you have no idea what somebody's any kind of threat, whether you have multiple people coming up and want to mug you or whatever. I mean, you see crazy shit all the time. It's not just with the guns. So, I mean, again, society is just it's going nuts.
It's something that gives me anxiety when I go into a place that I can't have my gun. So I get anxious because I feel like I
try not to go in. Right, we try not to, but there's certain places that you just have to, right? You have to, and it
and
sucks.
Sometimes it's places where I need it. If if I'm by myself and I go somewhere and I don't even know, I can't think off the top of my head right now where I was, but I go places with girlfriends or whatever, and I can't take my gun. And I'm like, okay. So now I'm walking around, and then I have this creeper that's like walking behind us, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, okay, I have to be ready. And I'm just like trying to get prepared. Like, what am I going to do, and how am I going to handle this?
Situational awareness, right?
Because I don't have any kind of weapon on me. I don't have anything to defend myself as far as, a weapon goes. But yeah, I think about that, and I get anxious about it when I don't have it. So it kind of sucks that there's those restrictions.
Pepper
I don't
spray,
like it.
There's some other stuff potentially that you can have with you. But again, if you're going somewhere and you find out that you can't have it in Florida, right, you have to leave it in your vehicle. And at that point, you're not prepared because you weren't planning on not being able to have it there. And then all of a sudden you can't. You're like, oh shit, now what?
Right.
So that's where it can be tough.
Yeah, it gets really. it gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
So I don't like it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then we talked about purse. Another really great holster is a belly band. Now,
Yeah.
with belly bands, and you'll see different colors on holsters. So
Sure.
very popular is going to be the skin color. So like
Flesh tone or something
flesh
like that.
tone, right? So this is really good if it like, if your shirt pops up a little bit or you bend down or whatever, it's not going to be like black if you're not wearing black, right?
Well,
so
and-
it'll be like skin color.
Yeah, that can also be set for firearms, right? The
Sure.
FDE color, it's really popular because it's military color, but I get a lot of people say, oh, no, I don't want that. I go, but if you
Skin
look at it,
color.
you put it close to your skin, and it doesn't necessarily stand out as much as
point.
a black gun.
Absolutely.
So, some of the times, people go, I didn't really think about that.
Right.
And it's like, that's kind of our job to help point that stuff out. In choosing a firearm, some of the times doing a tan or
Yeah, flat, dark earth.
flesh color kind of helps out a little bit.
Absolutely. And that's a good point because I tell people that as well.
Yeah.
Same thing with the holster. Sometimes the holster will come in that solid color like this, and then
Right.
there's other ones that are like two-tone. So like that one, can you grab?
Yep.
So where this part here
The
is
leather. Yeah, this is a leather and Kydex combination.
Right.
So ultimately, leather on your skin is very nice, right? It's comfortable.
Soft.
Yep, as opposed to having plastic on your skin. That's one of the major complaints that we get about Kydex.
Yeah.
So it's nice. So best of both worlds. So you're going to have your leather against your skin, and then Kydex for good retention, which we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So belly bands, and I don't know why men are against belly bands. I feel like we don't sell a lot of belly bands. Is it
Yeah.
like is it like some kind of
It's a stigma.
manly thing?
Well, it's almost like a girdle. You know what I mean? So guys are like, oh, I'm wearing a girdle.
But it's so comfortable. It's one of my
It is.
favorites.
It
Okay,
definitely makes it easier,
for
it does.
concealable,
Yeah.
right? So you have your belly band here. So this is a female specific one. One of my favorite holsters. So my first favorite is going to be the outside the waistband paddle with retention that we just talked about earlier. And then the belly band. So a belly band is going to stay on your waist, right? And depending on how tight and snug, you can come up a little bit higher, right? So just depending on where it is, it could be up here, it could be down on your waist, it could be down lower on your hips.
Right.
But you do not need a belt.
Right.
So you could be wearing shorts, you could be wearing yoga pants.
Yeah, that's the big
but-
one, yoga pants
and
nowadays, for
basketball
sure.
shorts for guys,
Right.
right? You're not
Sure.
always wearing
Right.
a belt and jeans or something with
Right.
like a
And
tight
even,
waistband.
Even though you could use this and put it in your pocket, the problem is in
Pulls it
basketball
down.
shorts, it starts to pull your pants down. So
Absolutely. Yes.
Which is a trend now.
Oof,
But
I
anyway,
don't like that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know, yeah.
So you don't want your gun pulling your
Right.
pants down, okay? And it just isn't secure. So you're gonna want to get I love belly bands. I push belly
Mm-hmm.
bands so hard because I'm like, you know what? And even if it's an additional holster to what you have that has a clip or has, tension.
This is where we talk about multiple holsters, right? What are you wearing? Where are you going? How are you going to do this so that you are going to end up with multiple holsters?
Correct.
It just is.
Absolutely. And the best part about the belly band is that it has all different pockets in it, right? So it usually has multiple different ways. It'll cant this way, that way. It can go here. It has a little pocket for your phone
Yep.
if you want to stick your phone in there. So think
Extra
about it. If you're
magazines, stuff like that.
jogging,
Yeah.
even
Sure.
for you wear
Yeah.
golf shorts like all the time,
Yep.
511 shorts and things like
Yep.
that, but you don't normally wear a belt. Do you wear a belt all the time? Oh, you do wear a belt
Yep.
all the time. So, it just depends. So this is definitely a great option. So there's nothing wrong with a belly band. And I do know our sales guys give me a
Yeah.
little bit of a hard time. They don't push them, but I'll specifically ask the guy,
Yeah.
do you always wear a belt? Do you always
Right.
wear jeans, or pants that are tight on the waist? Because
Right.
if you don't, that's the way to
And
go.
they're not gun specific. They might be
Correct.
size specific, right? Because again, how big is the gun? So you got to find something that might be a little bit thicker for a larger gun or a little
Sure.
bit smaller for a smaller gun. But that's nice because it fits all sorts of different styles of guns. So it helps out
Correct.
quite a bit. If you have multiple guns, now you have one holster that will work for multiple and you don't have to get something very specific.
Yes, that's a great point.
Which a lot of these
Yes.
are going to be very firearm specific.
Correct. And that's something else. So if you have multiple firearms, there's pros and cons to having something that is molded to specifically fit that one gun that you have.
Right.
But if you have multiple, you can get something that is a multi-fit
Right.
that is not specific to one particular
Like
firearm.
this style is going to kind of allow you to do do multiple, and you can kind of,
This one
you'll
too.
see, you'll kind of see how it starts to mold itself around it.
After
But
you're wearing
you
it.
can easily, put another gun as long as it fits in this particular area, and it'll work,
Right.
which is good.
And when we say specific to your gun, so if you're looking at like something like this, you can see Kydex is that plastic, right? So that's a material that is very popular. And
I know this is for a Glock. I can see the ribbing right here, which
Yep.
is what the Glock, that's
So it's-
synonymous to a Glock.
right.
Yeah.
So it's basically molded around the actual firearm, that specific firearm, so it holds it just perfectly in there. It's almost like, they heat it up. I think they do
Yep,
heat it up.
they sure do.
And they fit it perfectly.
like
So
that.
this holster is for this particular gun. It is not going to fit another gun that, a different manufacturer or something like
Right.
that. So that is
It
specific.
might fit a little bit, but it's going to be weird.
Yeah,
And it's not
it's not
going
gonna
to
fit
work
right.
properly. Yep, absolutely.
And when we talk about retention is really important
Right.
for you to carry, okay? So when you hear retention is when you put your gun into the holster, how it's able to sit in there.
You can hear it kind of click, right? That retention is how does it keep it in place?
Correct.
And on these Kydex holsters, usually the biggest place is going to be through here, which is going to be your trigger guard area. That's where you're going to get a lot of retention. And you might get something somewhere else on it as far as connectivity, but realistically, that's usually the point.
The retention, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so there's different levels of retention.
Correct.
And I want to touch on that because level 1 is going to be something like this, right?
That's correct. There's 1 point of retention.
Right.
Is kind of what that is.
So there's usually like something that's causing it to have that retention to hold it in place, right? So holding it in place would be like, so when I go to pull it, it kind of doesn't just come out. It probably should be a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
So it
Which-
gives it a
which you
little
can.
bit, right? So I'm pulling a little bit and it's retention, it's retaining it in there. Now I can still pull it out easily.
Yep.
So then you're gonna want, if you don't want somebody to be able to pull your gun out
boy.
from you, right?
Yep.
You're gonna want something
There we go.
that has more retention, which would be
Right.
this guy.
And this is a level 2 retention, and this you actually have to push a button in order to get it out.
Meaning,
So
yep,
comes in, the button has to be pressed, and that allows the gun to come out. Otherwise, it doesn't come out.
So if
it
the-
just sits in there, and I can't get it out without pushing that button in order
Correct.
to release it.
which is a amazing feature
Yes.
because you don't want somebody to be able to pull your gun away from you. So think about it. If you're like walking down the street and somebody
Yep.
comes around you, right, and is attacking you or multiple people, whatever's going on, and you go to reach for your gun and they see like, hey, they're reaching for something, trying to get there, and
Right.
they grab it first, they can pull it out. But
Right.
if you have this level
Level 2.
level 2 retention,
Right.
they're not going to be able to just pull that gun out.
Right.
They're going to have to hit that button
Right.
in order, and they're not going to be able to because it's going to be like
Yep.
in a weird place. And you have to like push it in order to pull the gun out, which I love.
And then level 3 is usually what the police have, but it's going to have the button, whether it's here, there's different places for the button to go. This particular one's underneath.
And then it's going to have that, right?
You're going to have a
Snap.
snap, or it could just have a hood, and sometimes those hoods just fly back over as well. So it's just another way of securing it to make sure that it can't.
Right.
Somebody could get that, but now with the snap or with the hood, it can't come out.
Right.
So,
Right.
yep,
So
that's a level 3.
Yeah, so the snap is going to go over the top or the hood, like you said, and that's something that you're going to have to like undo in
Yep.
order for it,
And then hit the button and then
hit
get
the
it out.
button and have it come out. Because
Right.
police officers, especially, they have
Yeah.
to be really careful because
Absolutely.
people try to grab their stuff all the time.
Yeah, I
So-
just saw something, a guy, 2 police officers were, trying to detain somebody, and the guy went and grabbed a taser off the cop, and he
Yeah.
ended up getting shot.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the retention button can be in different spots,
Yep.
right? So
Absolutely.
this particular one, my favorite one, is,
Yeah.
is over here on the
It's
side.
activated as you kind of drive down and grab the gun. This finger just kind of hits it, and it allows you
Lets
just to
it-
come up with it. So I like that one personally.
Yeah, this
as
one I don't
opposed
really
to the
like
button.
as much
Yep.
personally.
Yep.
Again,
No,
some
I
people
feel the
like
same
it.
way.
So this is that paddle, that same style where the paddle actually goes inside on your skin, and then there's a space in between that it slides into your pants.
Is that for 365?
And the gun sits on the outside and the paddle sits on the inside.
Yep.
And so I don't know which gun this is
Yep.
for, but when you hit that retention button, it's not like your middle finger, it's more like your first finger.
Yeah.
So your finger is going to come down and it's going to press
You
the
hit it,
button.
and then allows you to pull up. But again, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
This particular
us.
guy, yeah, this is Safari Land. We really like the Safari Land holster.
Yeah. Very much
so,
so.
yep.
Yeah. Is that Blade Tech?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that might be Blade Tech.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, not a bad holster. Got a little carbon
Yeah.
fiber in it. It's nice looking, but
Yeah.
I definitely like that button style for
Yeah.
releasing it personally.
And I like
as
the
well.
more coverage you have too, because this one's very short. I noticed and this actually might be for an optic.
Yeah. So optics ready. Yep. So this is going to be for optics ready. That's why that's there. So if we're going to run a red dot, Romeo, Hollow Sun, whatever we're going to put on it, kind of thing. But yep.
And we've covered red dots in other shows.
Yes.
But that would be an optic that is going to attach to your slide most times, yeah. And so when you do something like that, which is a good segue into modifying your gun, it's going to change your holster potentially. So if you
Correct.
modify your gun and you put a laser or a red dot or any kind of like addition,
A light. So that's going to be your most popular, right? It's going to be a light or a laser. And usually when you're doing that, it's going to be adding through this area here somewhere, right? Your red dot's going to go up here, and we can see the difference between this holster that gives a little bit more.
Opening.
Yeah, gives us more opening here, as opposed to this guy that now all of a sudden, when we're in, it may or may not be accessible or not. So we just kind of have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But lights are huge.
Yeah.
And it really does stink, because when you add those lights or lasers, it changes your profile.
Sure.
So now your holster doesn't fit anymore.
Right.
And it's very hard to find holsters for some
the
of these.
TLR ones and
Some of those it's
Yeah.
easier to find for some of those than others.
Yeah.
But you get into your Streamlight TLR 1s or 7s or 8s,
Yeah.
and then you get Crimson Trace. So the holster manufacturers are starting to get better with it.
Sure.
But there's so many options, it can really, really cause a problem.
Yeah.
So
if you think about it, if we put a flashlight on here or a light, on the rail, which is where a lot of people put it, it's now going to change the profile of this gun completely, because now it's not going to fit in where it normally would. It's going to have a big old light right here, right? So, and then a lot of times the Crimson Trace lasers are put here on the trigger guard. So again, when your gun sits in your holster, it's not going to sit in there anymore.
Right.
So once you start modifying, you're going to have to get a different holster for sure. And we at Mad Dog Armory, plug for our shops, we have tons of different holsters, and there's lots and lots and lots of different styles and types, like we've said before and 10 times before. And so we can help you with that. So we suggest that you bring your gun into the shop, of course, unloaded, and that doesn't mean leave your mag. Right? Because a lot of times people won't bring their magazines, and we're like, but you need your magazine to kind of see where it's sitting and what's going on.
Right.
So bring your magazine.
especially if you
just
have an
unload
extended
it.
mag on some of these smaller guns, it's good to kind of be able to say, just unload
Absolutely.
the mag, unload in the car or whatever.
Yeah,
or at
just
home
bring
if
an
you don't bring it that
empty
way, whatever.
firearm
Yep.
with all of your stuff that you have with it. And you can try them on in the store. We have mirrors and a bathroom and all that stuff, and you can kind of see if you're printing, and we'll help you out with that and be like, you know what, that's not the best one for you. And then you can try drawing and seeing how you like it. Do you need retention?
Right, what kind of retention do you need?
What do you do? What do you wear? So again, all those factors do determine which holster you get.
Some of the other things, you're going to have mag caddies, so this is a way for you to carry a spare mag potentially as well.
Yep.
So
A lot of people do carry spare mags.
absolutely. Again, if something goes wrong with your magazine, because your first point of failure potentially is going to be your magazine.
Right.
I mean, if something is going wrong with your gun, a lot of times, like most of the time, it has to do with your magazine.
It's true.
So in that instance, if you're having a problem, drop mag, put in the next mag, and just go and worry about the other stuff later.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Another style of guns, holster, would be something like this. Now, I'm not a big fan.
Yep.
Do you remember what this is called?
I don't. But it
Can't
hooks
remember.
onto her bra.
Yeah, so
It
it is
actually
firearm
sits
specific.
underneath,
Yeah,
yes.
so it's firearm specific, which means it's molded to a specific firearm. So it's only made for that one type of firearm, that one model and make. And this little snap snaps under your bra.
Yep.
So under your bra strap.
And then it kind of it's supposed to tuck up a little underneath
It tucks
the
up
bra
and
as well.
under, right? So it'd be sitting here, and then you can go up under your shirt and you draw.
Yep. It's a straight down kind of movement, quick straight down movement
Yeah.
that comes out. You tried it a little bit and you weren't necessarily extremely happy with it.
No, I didn't like the placement of it personally. Again, a lot of people, lots of different people, lots of
Yep.
different preferences, but
Sure.
I personally didn't like it. I didn't like that it was pointing right,
Towards the
basically
boob.
at my heart.
Right.
And then also just getting under my shirt. What if it's tucked in? It just seemed weird to like go
Right.
under, and then I'd have to pull my shirt up. I mean, that might be enough to just like
Hello.
throw a person off
Be
that's
like,
trying to attack me. Maybe I should use this
Well,
now. I don't know.
hey,
I'm going to readdress it and see
They
if
make
it'll
me
work.
smile. God knows what it'll do to somebody else. Just
Well, yeah. Anyway, so there's underwear for guys, right? We have briefs. We had them in. They
yoga
didn't
pants.
sell
They're
very.
making
Yes.
yoga pants now with holsters and stuff like that.
Thank you for
Yep.
saying that. But lots of different apparel
Sure.
that's comfortable, like briefs for guys. They have built-in holsters in them, so just one pair, like tank tops
Yep.
that have holsters in them, and like you said, leggings, which we just started stocking in
Yes.
our stores.
Yep.
That I've tried out. They're really great fit. They have those deep pockets for your phone, and then
Yeah.
they have a
That's
holster
the big one.
here and
It's
here.
great for the phones, having the pockets and stuff like that. I know, because
Really
that's always a
does.
pain. So yeah.
Yeah, really, really good options for that, for attire and holsters tied into each other.
Yeah.
So the different materials we talked about today, Kydex is going to be like that more
Hard
harder
plastic.
plastic. Then there's nylon,
Right.
which is kind of like
Yep.
this material here. And
Leather.
leather.
Right, and then you'll get into some of these other hybrid, synthetics, whatever it might be. That they're a little softer.
Yeah.
So they might be nylon, but that's a more rigid nylon. It might find some softer materials like the sticky holster and some of these other manufacturers
Correct.
as well. So.
Yeah, suede is another one,
Yep.
right?
Well, leather. Yeah, suede. is
Leather,
leather. Yeah.
suede, yeah.
Yep.
Inside the waistband, outside the waistband. So tons of different options for you guys.
Yep.
The key is to really make sure it's your personal choice and what's comfortable for you.
Yep.
And we can help you out with that. So visit our stores,
Sure enough.
and we can definitely get you into the right one or ones that are going to work for you. So
Well, shit,
We're-
that was a quick.
that was quick,
That was a
right?
quick
We
hour.
filled up the
Holy
time.
crap.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
knew?
thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
For next Friday from 6 to 7.
That's right.
Check us out and follow us, like, subscribe, share, and
Area52tv.com, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
see you next week.
Bye.
Have a great week.